Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madam, and I'm coming back to you once again. I decided to make a video basically giving my intake and my opinion on the current situation with the protest for all of the immigrants and, some of my life experiences. Now, nobody that hasn't been watching the TV report or on social media has seen the unrest that is going on and the multiple protests that have taken place all around the United States because of the enforced immigration that the current administration is currently enacting and following up on. There's been a lot of back and forth about Latinos and Colombians and Mexicans that I've seen on TikTok and other social medias talking about, well, where are the Black people? Essentially, where are the African American people? Why are you not coming to fight? Why are you sitting this one out? And I would just say that we have fight for y'all. We continue to fight for you and everyone else that is marginalized and oppressed. However, this time we're going to take a different approach because essentially we know the game plan. And then I see, some creators saying, well, we don't need your help. We just need your empathy and your compassion. We have empathy and compassion for everyone. And a lot of the times that has turned around to bite us in the butt. Okay? Going back on some of my experiences that I lived through myself personally from the countless of people that I've had the privilege and honor to come across from different parts of the world. I will start off by talking about a gentleman that I used to work with. I believe his name was Jesus. I worked with this guy. He was from Honduras. He was a very hardworking, very polite gentleman. He worked his butt off every day, all day, long hours. And eventually during our time of working with each other, I kind of asked, like, what brought you to the United States? Well, where he's from in Honduras, he said it was plagued with, gangs and violence and things like that. And he wanted to leave to find a better way of life where it wasn't always a war zone, which is understandable. A lot of people immigrate from their countries because of this very same reason. I don't know where he is now. This was a couple of years ago, but I pray that he is safe and well. I pray that he's still here in the United States and that he's living a happy and peaceful life. Another person that I wanted to talk about, I think his name, I can't remember his name, I can't pronounce his name. He was from Cameroon. We used to work together, and, we were sitting down and we were talking one day, and, he came to me and he was like, man, I'm kind of surprised, I'm amazed about, Black people. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by you're amazed by Black people? He said, when I came to this country and got my citizenship, I was told to not fraternize or speak or be friends with African Americans and what he heard when he was in his home country of Cameroon, that black people were lazy, we were thieves, we were murderers, we were rapists, and all of these terrible things. But he said as he got to know us, worked around us, and things like that, he seen that none of the things that, whoever he spoke to or what was being shown in his part of the world was necessarily true. And just like I told him, I said, man, it's bad people everywhere. It's not just black Americans that, do these things or whatever the case is. So, I mean, it really took me by surprise that, it changed his mind and his beliefs and his stance, just literally being around black people, learning more about our culture, how we live, how we work, how we interact with other people from different, countries, different cultures and things like that. And mind you, the place where I was working at with the gentleman, he would work hard and he would take his money back because he was building a house in Cameroon for his father. I hope that he is safe and well as well. He basically changed his position and his stance and his beliefs by actually seeing how black people live, how we work, how we are, accosted by police, and, how, all the things that he was learning back where he came from and what people at immigration told him or things like that, that it was a lie. So I'm glad that he was able to experience it for himself rather than going off of the perception that has been widely, universally shared about Black and African American people. And last but not least, another person that I can remember, Nada Madre. She was different. She was Puerto Rican. She was Afro Puerto Rican. She was a light fair-skinned woman, but she didn't identify with what people would consider as, I would use this to my advantage, Afro Puerto Rican, and, she leaned more on her African side than she did, anything else, and we became really, really close, really, really close to the point to where I would always call her my second mom. She was a headstrong woman. She was a hard worker. She was, she loved her children. She loved her family. She would do anything for her children. And she worked. She was sick and she worked her ass off every day, even when she didn't feel like it, even when she, wanted to give up. She still came into work. She still did her job effectively. And I have nothing but the utmost respect and love for her and her family. That will never change. She's no longer here. She's no longer among us. She is an ancestor, essentially. And I am grateful to have known her, to have known her daughters, her family. She was an amazing woman. But she even told me where she comes from. She didn't speak much about what part she came from, but she told me she had a very big disdain from where she came from. She did not like the fact, she said they are, she flat out called her people racist. She flat out look, they don't like Black people. They don't like the darker you are. She went down the whole line of, why she didn't like where she came from, and she was happy to, be here in the United States and be around black people. She would literally tell you, I'm black. You know what I mean? I never understood it. I was like, well, you should be proud of that too, to be Puerto Rican and stuff like that. And she would tell me how it would be, differences between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and, Latino and things like that. And I would just sit there and listen to her and just soak up the information and the knowledge of what her perspective was. Not letting it shape my opinion, but letting her have a opportunity and space to vent and, just get it off of her chest. But love this woman to death. That's my second mom. I don't care, love her to death, man. Love her kids, her grandkids, love them to death, man. But the thing is, where have all the protesters gone? A lot of people made some valid points. It was this running theme about black fatigue that they just stole from a book. And I've seen a lot of creators, Latino, Mexicans, Indians, they were hopping on the bandwagon. Oh, we got black fatigue. We're just so tired of black people and all of this stuff. But now, fast forward to what we're currently dealing with, the current climate, and you see videos about where are all the black people? Why are you not protesting? Why are you not out there? First and foremost, we know that everyone is not the same. But understand, just like people always tell black people, we have to clean in-house. We have to clean house first. I would say you equally have to do the same thing. It's like they're not even addressing, to me, from what I've seen, it's like some people are addressing it, but for the majority of the videos that I've seen asking where black people are, it's more so of, you're not addressing the house, or as one content creator said on TikTok, the call is coming from inside the house. Or as we would say, or the Southern folk would say, sweep in front of your own porch before you come sweeping in front of anybody else's. It's this thing. I saw a CNN report where this lady was talking about the black people rioting in the streets in LA and this, that, and that. Black people ain't out there, baby. It is definitely a sprinkle of black people out there and about protesting with y'all. And I don't mean salt-based sprinkle. I mean a sprinkle of black people out there. So who is doing all this rioting and looting and setting cars on fire and things like that? And I think that they're internalizing it wrong, because as another content creator said, this is your civil rights movement. We've been fighting our civil rights movement for a long time. We fight for everybody else, but when we need everybody to fight for us, yes, like I said, it has been people out there fighting, but at the same time, it's mostly ridicule. Like, we know what people say behind our backs. We know what y'all talk about. Even if we can't understand you, we have friends that will translate. We have technology that will translate. We know what y'all say about us. And that is basically because of what you were taught. Hate is a taught thing. It's not something that you're born with. So if you lived in one part of the country or state or whatever, for example, and you were told that black people are criminals, black people are lazy, black people, and we, real talk, built this country brick by brick, railroad track by railroad track, foundation from foundation. We didn't have a choice in the matter. Okay? some may say, we didn't. So all the hate and the blaming and turning in lies where people are tired. And then it's another thing about it. Why go out there and fight and put us on the front line? We the first ones that's going to take a hit. It's going to turn totally different. That's when all the live rounds is going to come out. The bullets, the dogs, everything else. Y'all need to get your house in order, like y'all tell us. Get your house in order. And I mean that with all due respect. Get your house in order. And then what you need to do, once you get your house in order, the ones that are not afraid to lose their money or to lose what they built or to lose what, like the people, like the ones, the Colombians and stuff in Miami and stuff like that, why y'all not talking to them? Why are y'all not pressing them about them being out there? Because they're not going to be out there. Yes, they feel bad. I believe that they do feel bad about what's going on. But let's be honest. The majority of them, I'm totally being honest when I say this. Let's be honest. The majority of them is not going to come out there and help the situation or the cause. Not directly anyway. Some of them they will help, but the majority of them they not. Because I'm assuming in their mind they work too hard to get to where they are. And it's just like in any other, it's colorism. I'm not going to go out there and, they look down on their own people. This is in every race and every demographic. So please don't think I'm trying to come and make it a thing. No, this is every race and every demographic. But you really need to clean house. You need to get them, and then you need to get the other people that voted for Trump. It's not hard. It's a Google search. You can find out exactly who voted for him. You need to get all the other people that voted for him, and you need to press them. Yes, when we get out in the streets and we protest, yes, eventually stuff does get done. But a lot of the times the fake allyship, we don't want to go through that no more. We don't want to go through the fake allyship. You're the people that's calling for us to be out there to sacrifice our bodies and our voices and our families and stuff like that. Really don't care if, we get unalived, we get hurt, we get thrown in prison. As long as it serves their purpose to have a voice to speak up. No, this is your moment. This is your moment. And I say that with all the compassion and empathy in the world. This is your moment. We fought for y'all on November 5th. We fought for everybody on November 5th. We were trying to tell people, even a year before, 2 years before, when we found out who the candidates was going to be for the next election, we were trying to tell you, this is what's going to happen if you allow this man in office. And you did not listen. So, as my mother would say, and as many people mothers would say, since you don't want to listen, it's going to show you better than it can tell you. Now, again, like I said, I got all the sympathy and empathy in the world, but until you clean house and get them other people that voted for this current administration and everything that you voted for, we're still going to be resting. Black people are still going to be resting. We're still going to be taking care of our business and things like that because we know. And then to the people that keep saying, when they get done with y'all, when they get done with us, what do you think they're going to do? They doing it to us right now. They just not, because they can't, 13th, 14th Amendment. What do you think that, excuse me, all that systematic turn down trying to turn the Constitution up and stuff like that is about. The 13th and 14th Amendment. All the amendments in the Constitution. Why do you think they trying to get rid of that stuff or rewrite it or put laws in place to loophole around it? Why do you think that the administration was talking about birthright citizenship? They still got their foots on us, or trying to get their foots on us, but they were still attacking us. And that's what a lot of people are not saying, that I have seen. I'm not saying that no one has said it, but that I've seen, they're still doing that. They're just not mass deporting us because they can't deport us. They can't. So get your house in, like y'all tell us all the time, get your house in order. We send you prayers, we send you empathy, we send you compassion. But get your house in order. But all that protesting and stuff, no, not going. And I think that my friend Nada, may she rest peacefully, would do the same thing. Okay? And she's a Puerto Rican. And she would do the same thing, because the same things that I'm saying is the same things that I have heard, that I have experienced, and things like that. It was even talks about, Asian people. Asian people ain't gonna help nobody. It's gonna be some Asian people that's gonna help, but for the most part, they not coming. They're not coming. It's been tons of videos of Asians who's like, oh, that's not our fight. You know what I'm saying? We don't even ask for their help. If they come, they come. And that's basically how it is. If you come, you come. But we gonna do this. This is your time. This is your fight. You will prevail and be successful. You just got to go through the paces just like we did. Point blank, period. But I don't know. You guys drop down in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about that. I will respond to your comment. If you get a little bit too out of your pocket, out of your mouth, out of your head, you already know. Block City, Block City, Block City. But yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And until then, you guys, I will get with you in the next one.